In this video, I'm going to talk about how to focus on the feeling to manifest. This is how you manifest, okay? The reason you're not manifesting what you desire is because you're not actually focusing on the feeling of having what you desire. You know what you want. It could be the car, it could be health, it could be the girl, it could be the money, whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is, you're focusing on the lack of it. Wanting it. Wanting is not a bad thing. All these emotions are not bad things, okay? Just know that you're there and flip it. Happiness versus sadness is a very contrasting feeling, okay? So this is why Neville Goddard taught us to imagine, or all the, like, there's different types of teachers, right? Whoever you listen to, they tell you to imagine or affirm or do an affirmation. Ask yourself, how would you feel if you had it? Thomas Troward was one of my favorite teachers. Bob Proctor, he would tell us to imagine. So I'm going to go over a story that Neville Goddard shares on how to do this, a little bit of my testimony, and then I'm going to end with a quote from Thomas Troward so that we can really understand what's going on, okay? Truth can be inverted, meaning how to make physical reality can't be changed. It's the same everywhere. Wherever you go, if it's the truth, it's the same. Okay, so if you're ready to learn and apply, stay. If you're not, do not stay, because for you to get results, you need to apply. And shout out to the 10 people who've been watching me for, I don't know, maybe if you've been watching me for the last 2-3 years, maybe. Shout out, because I know you're manifesting shit. And if you haven't, remember that it took me about 6 years to really get into the feeling of gratitude and really understand how to be in a positive vibration most of your day, okay? And that doesn't really have to do anything with manifesting, because like, you could feel good and grateful, but what are you imagining? Okay, what are you imagining? Like, I could be happy just drinking a coffee, okay? That doesn't mean that Ferrari is gonna pop out right now, you know? It's another topic. Imagination doesn't operate itself, okay? So that's another quote I'm gonna share about Thomas Troward that he says. It's really good. It's very, very articulate, and there's a reason why we go back to Thomas Troward, okay? Because how articulate he is. All right. The story is about a man that Neville Goddard trained, because Neville would do seminars just like what I'm doing, but this is a virtual seminar. He would do in-person seminars where people would come into a like a hotel room, like one of those big like hotel presentation rooms. I forget what they're called. Auditoriums? No, not auditoriums. Ballrooms, what have you. And so it'll have tons of people there. And this guy had told him about how he manifested by using revision. Okay, so something happened already. It happened physically. So it's part of his past experience. And what happened was he got a letter from a real estate guy who he knows. He had told him that his lot, he was trying to sell a lot, couldn't be sold, and he outlined tons of reasons of why it couldn't be sold. Not until maybe like the following year. And he's all like, I know how to create reality, so and I know revision, so I'm going to change this. And what he did was using like the because life is really like a movie, like a simulation. A movie is basically the simulation of a script, a reflection of a script. So everything's a reflection of our thought. And so he used this analogy to help him create. So his theme was, he got a letter saying that the lot was sold. Okay. No, the goal was that the lot was sold. Okay. The goal was that the lot was sold. That was the goal. The goal is the lot is sold, because he really wanted to get rid of it. It was costing him too much money to keep it. He was probably paying a lot of property taxes on it. And so he's like, and he wasn't even using the lot, so it's just negative all the time. And he said, all right, I want to get the lot sold. The place, that's the producer. He's producing the goal. Script writer, he's gonna be the location and then what's going on. He's gonna be in the real estate agent office, okay? The real estate agent's office, and he's gonna shake hands. They're both gonna shake hands, and he's telling the agent, "Thank you so much for selling the property, the land specifically." And the agent is saying, my pleasure. It is my pleasure doing business with you." And that's it. Very short and sweet. And as a director, he directed the scene, so he did it over and over and over again until he felt satisfied. So as a director, you must run the act until you feel relief and satisfied. Okay. He was the actor because he had in first person point of view how to shake the guy's hand using his imaginal hand, shaking the imaginal hand of the man, seeing him in imagination, okay, shaking his hand, okay. He at that time he could have been anywhere. He could have been in his own home, because you could do this anytime. It doesn't have to be in the morning or at night. Although those are good times because you're very relaxed. Okay, the key is to be relaxed so you can impress the subconscious mind. And I'm gonna share what he has said. Look, quote: "In my imaginal scene as producer, I suggested a theme. The lot is sold for a profit. As the author, I wrote this simple scene which to me implied fulfillment. Standing in the real estate office, I extended my hand to the agent and said, 'Thank you, sir.' And he replied, 'It was my pleasure doing business with you.' As director, I rehearsed as actor until the scene was vividly real, and I felt the relief, which would be mine if the burden were really lifted." If the burden were really lifted. If the burden were really lifted. If the burden were really lifted. I say this all the time. When you hit rock bottom, or you're really trying to get out of a predicament, and I write about this a lot. When you're in a predicament, when you finally feel the wish fulfilled, it feels so amazing because it's such contrast. It's such contrast. I shared my story about my Challenger. I don't know what really happened. I think it was just oil, but who cares? Who cares what the reason was? I had my Challenger, my Hellcat had a check engine light. After I had hit like 0 to 60 seconds in like 4 seconds on sports mode. I'm like, oh, check engine. I'll change this. So I started affirming, doing through affirmation. So I asked, how do I feel now that my Dodge Challenger is working perfectly fine and the check engine light has disappeared? Okay, and on top of that, I ran 2 scenes. The next morning, I imagine myself in the future coming to work in my Challenger, and it's working fine. And then another scene where I was going into my car, like later that day, going into the car and pushing the start button. So I did take other precautions, like I went to O'Reilly's, and that's where they checked your like little car computer thing, and they give you a code and give you like the reason why it's showing up, why the check engine light or whatever light is showing up. So I went through that. They told me, oh, this is the reason you need to change XYZ. I'm like, oh, okay. And then later on, I went home. I was gonna go to Walmart to buy more oil because the oil was pretty low. And so as I turn on the car, the check engine light is gone. As I turn on the car, the check engine light is gone. Until this day, and this was like months ago, like 2 months ago, no check engine light. Persist and feel. Feel it to be true. You don't even need to persist. You can just feel it to be true. Because when you feel it to be true, it's not really, like persist has a kind of a connotation when you're like working hard. But it just means continue, just continue. I think for me, I've destroyed, I've killed the identity of working hard. I've killed that identity. Okay, and it sometimes comes up, like right now, I'm like, oh, work hard, persist. And then I was thinking about a certain manifestation I wanted for a specific person. I had to do some inner work. Here's some inner work practice for you. When you have any negative emotion, ask yourself, what do I need to believe in order to have this experience? And the reason will come up. I think for me there's a specific person who I wanted to talk to, but there's a lot of like boundaries, right? If you want to talk to somebody and they like look away or just ignore you, you're not gonna keep on talking to them. They're setting a boundary, not a physical boundary, but with their energy and their body language. And so I said, why do I feel this way? Like, kind of sad. And then I'm like, oh, it's because this person has put boundaries on. Okay, fine. So respect that boundary and go on with your life. Your happiness doesn't come from that person, right? See, I'm developing, I'm unraveling this right now as I speak. But I said, oh, okay, so what? Just be in a positive state and live your life. That's what I said. But now I'm kind of like, my happiness doesn't come from that person. Yeah, it would be nice. That's one of my secrets. It would be nice. It would be nice to, and then enter whatever your desire is. Okay, I wanted to share that in this video, so I did share it. Because it gets you into a positive feeling, right? Think about what you desire right now. And as tell yourself, it would be nice to have then whatever your desire is. Right now, run it right now. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple seconds to run it. Say, it would be nice to enter your desire. You see the feeling? The feeling is not lag, That's why it's one of my secret manifesting techniques. It would be nice to, and then it links you with the feeling of feeling nice and that desire. Yes, it's not in first person, I have this, like Neville Goddard says, but also Neville Goddard shares the ask formation and the decoupling method that Brendan Manifesting talks about. These are just ways in which we can feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Okay, how would you feel if it were already there? If it were here, how would it feel? You're not saying to yourself, how do I have it? You're not affirming, I have this, like the Bible tells us to affirm. Let the weak man say, I am strong. You're saying, how would it be to have? That's your desire. How would it be to? Then you have that feeling, and then Neville says, just carry that feeling like an aroma. 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 Again, that's an analogy so that you can carry that feeling of the wish fulfilled. Remember, if you're not manifesting desires that you want, it's because you are focusing on wanting versus feeling the wish fulfilled. Okay? And I'm going to share this quote that Neville Goddard shares about this. He says, quote, if man does not always create in the full sense of the word, it is because he is not faithful to his vision, or else he thinks of what he wants rather than from his wish fulfilled. So there's twofold, okay? End quote. So this is twofold. You waver in the vision. You don't believe that it's going to be. You don't believe that it's going to be. You don't believe that it's going to show up. And it will show up. You don't have to believe that it's going to show up. Just stay faithful to it. Keep running the vision, the imaginal act, and then feel the wish fulfilled. Like the man, by rewriting, by seeing the wish fulfilled over and over again and feeling it like to be true, felt the relief of the burden being off of him. It showed up. It'll show up. It will show up. Okay. So just keep running the imaginal act. Keep running the imaginal act. Like, especially before you do something, maybe like you're training, or maybe you're on a sales call, maybe you're gonna go on a date, maybe you're gonna go repair something. See the end goal, right? If you're on a date with somebody new, or you're with your partner and you want a specific ending, get to the specific ending. A sale, you want a specific ending, get to the specific ending. See yourself, running the card or getting the payment, seeing the payment already ran. Maybe if it's sex, maybe you already had sex, you're hugging each other, or you're in the act. You're in possession of the act. Money, I already said money, huh? Health, or fitness, you're in a competition. See yourself with the award. See yourself finishing the competition. Maybe that's all you want. Health, see yourself already doing the thing that you want to do, but you can't do right now, which just means the burden has been lifted. All right. Um, so I'm going to go into Thomas Trower now. And I hope you're taking notes as well and applying this. Um, Stay to the very end because I'm going to give you a way that I manifest. I'm going to explain it to you. Okay. But one I already gave you, which is it would be nice to. All right. It would be nice to, then enter whatever you desire. And then you'll get into the feeling of it because you're no longer lacking it. You're in the feeling of it. Just like Neville Goddard says, ask yourself, how would it be? How would it be if you had whatever it is? Same thing. How would it be? Oh, yeah, it would be nice. Or it would be, a joyful relief, whatever it is. It's usually relief. And, okay. So the quote, and this is the point of the quote, okay, is that everything is now, okay? Everything is now. This is why you feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And Thomas Shore is really good about the logical, he's really good with the logical understanding of imagination. Neville calls spirit imagination, okay, the non-physical, okay, the spiritual man, which is the imaginal man. Thomas Shore says spirit, he just talks about the spiritual plane. Everything has a spiritual prototype and then it is reflected onto time and space. Okay, so check it out. Quote, if we regard the fulfillment of our purpose as contingent upon any circumstance, past, present, or future, we are not making use of first cause. We have descended to the level of secondary causation, which is the region of doubts, fears, and limitations. I'm going to hold on right there, end quote. Right now, you're seeing me or listening to me wherever you're at. You cannot see or listen somewhere in China, unless you close your eyes and start imagining, but so you're limited to experiencing China. This is why it's important to go within, okay? Because the physical realm has limitations. Okay, let's continue. Quote, all of which we are impressing upon the universal subjective mind, with the inevitable result that it will build up corresponding external conditions. But if we realize that the region of secondary causes is the region of mere reflections, we shall not think of our purpose as contingent on any conditions whatever, but shall know that by forming the idea of it in the absolute and maintaining that idea, we have shaped the first cause into the desired form and can await the result with cheerful expectancy. It is here that we find the importance of realizing spirit's independence of time and space. An ideal, as such, cannot be formed in the future. It must either be formed here and now or not be formed at all. And it is for this reason that every teacher who has ever spoken with due knowledge of the subject has impressed upon his followers the necessity of picturing to themselves the fulfillment of their desires as an already accomplished fact on the spiritual plane, as the indispensable condition of fulfillment in the visible and the concrete. When this is properly understood, any anxious thought as to the means to be employed in the accomplishment of our purposes is seen to be quite unnecessary. If the end is already secured, then it follows that all the steps leading to it are secured also. End quote. Okay. See, an ideal form must be formed here and now. Because spirit is not contingent on time and space. When you close your eyes, you use your imagination. Okay. So what we do is form the ideal. Okay. And the last thing I want to share is that spirit or imagination doesn't operate itself. Okay, to manifest, it does not operate itself. Right now, it's running on autopilot with the things that it's already created, like the animals and things like that. It's on autopilot. Okay, all that's on autopilot. So for you, for your imagination, for your spiritual prototype to manifest, you have to do it. You have to do it. Okay? It doesn't operate itself. Your imagination doesn't operate itself. You operate imagination. And everything is imagination. Everything is spirit. Everything is a spiritual prototype. All right? So here's a quote, all right, I want to share. But before I say it, I'm surprised that he doesn't say imagination. He just says created the ideal. He says create an ideal. By forming the ideal of it in the absolute and maintaining that idea, we have shaped the first cause into the desired form and can await the results with cheerful expectancy. Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need to do. All right, here's the quote. Quote, to get good results, we must properly understand our relation to the great impersonal power we are using. It is intelligent and we are intelligent, and the two intelligences must cooperate. We must not fly in the face of the law by expecting it to do for us what it can only do through us. And we must therefore use our intelligence with the knowledge that it is acting as the instrument of a greater intelligence. And because we have this knowledge, we may and should cease from all anxiety as to the final result. In actual practice, we must first form the ideal conception of our object with the definite intention of impressing it upon the universal mind. It is this intention which takes such thought out of the region of mere casual fancies, and then affirm that our knowledge of the law is sufficient reason for a calm expectation of a corresponding result, and that therefore all necessary conditions will come to us in due order. We can then turn to the affairs of our daily life with the calm assurance that the initial conditions are either there already or will soon come into view. If we do not at once see them, let us rest content with the knowledge that the spiritual prototype is already in existence, and wait till some circumstance pointing in the desired direction begins to show itself. It may be a very small circumstance, but it is the direction and not the magnitude which is to be taken into consideration. As soon as we see it, we should regard it as the first sprouting of the seed we have sown in the absolute, and do calmly and without excitement whatever the circumstances may seem to require, and then later on we shall see that this doing will in turn lead to further circumstances in the same direction until we find ourselves conducted step by step to the accomplishment of our object. Okay. Sometimes we do take some actions, okay? End quote. We do take some actions sometimes. Sometimes it just comes to us, okay? But don't be concerned in the action, okay? Know that we must operate spirit ourselves to get what we want, okay? Because it's not going to show itself, okay? It's not going to just appear. Like I said earlier, we can't just like feel good and then expect a Ferrari. We must see the Ferrari, okay? Yeah, if you have certain affirmations, positive self-talk, like I get everything I want, then maybe you'll get it because it's affirming. It's an assumption. I get everything I want, okay? Everything. Okay, so positive self-talk is also imagination, especially when it's an assumption. Let's say right now, I'm assuming I have a double cheeseburger right now. I'm so grateful I have a double cheeseburger right now. I'm kind of hungry. It's an assumption because I don't have a cheeseburger right now. Physically, I don't have it, but in my thought, in my imagination, I have it. It's an imaginal act. Okay, it's an idea that has no physical evidence. Okay. It's imagination, it's an assumption. And so, if I feel like I have one, then I'll have one, okay? But if I just think, oh, I wish I had one, then I'll keep on wishing. You gotta feel it, okay? See, if I say, oh, it would be nice to have a double cheeseburger right now, and I'm happy about it. You see how that works? It's all about the feeling you already have it. Just like the guy in the story that I shared, he ran his assumption, his imaginal act, over and over and over and over again until he felt the relief of the burden. The relief. That's key. Okay. So yeah, what Thomas Short was saying in that second quote that I shared is that we must know that we must not think that it's going to do it for us. The universe is not going to do it for us. Okay, we must assume the position. Okay, assume the habit, assume whatever it is that we want. Assume the habit if you have it not. Assume the virtue if you have it not. That's from William Shakespeare. Assume it. And then as you do it over and over and over again, it becomes a habitual thought. When Shakespeare taught it in his book, I forget which book, but I've quoted it in my book, Goal Driven. He's talking about act. You know, we'll just assume it. And the first try is going to be kind of hard. At first, you're like kind of lying. You feel like you're lying to yourself when it's an assumption, imaginary act. But then as you do it over, it becomes second nature. It becomes like nature. It stamps out your old nature. It stamps out your old identity, your old actions, your new actions, your new thoughts. Specifically when we're talking about manifesting. It becomes a new thought, a new identity. And just through repetition. I love this quote. Repetition creates belief. Repetition creates belief. Okay, repetition creates belief. Okay, and then belief manifests. Okay. Typically that's how it works, because now you're in the vibration of it, but kind of contradictory, because you don't need to believe this stuff to get it at first. Then you believe it because you get the results. Because it's a law. It's the law of creation. I like the story that David from the YouTube channel Elmer O. Locker Jr. shares about his grandfather. He said that Neville Goddard taught him about manifesting by telling him to imagine himself walking up the stairs and getting a piece of paper, carrying it with you, a little piece of paper, carrying it with you that says, I will not climb a ladder. But at the same time, imagining climbing a ladder. Imagination creates reality. And so the imaginary act manifested. What you're doing in your mind, it's going to happen. You could stop it if you want to, but the universe will do it so much, you'll be like really inclined to do it. Because what would happen with Elmer O. Locker Jr., he went to his mom's house and they needed help. His father needed help to go on the roof. And so the mom thought, hey, help your dad on the roof. And he loves his parents, obviously, because he walked up the ladder, but he didn't believe it. Remember, you don't need to believe it, but he ended up believing it over time. Okay. The repetition did create belief in the law, but the law is there whether you believe it or not. That's what I'm trying to say. The law is here whether you believe it or not. And as you get better and better at this, you'll believe it. You'll start manifesting a lot of stuff, a lot of beautiful things in your life. And that's why I'm sharing this. And then you'll learn a lot of things automatically. Like I learned how to do a muscle up. And I learned about my body and how it moves and how it feels and movements. But I had to see myself at the top of the bar first. So I had to see it done first before it happened. Okay, and then you learn through the process. Just like sales, you want to get better at sales. You might manifest a book. You might manifest something, that teaches you a certain tonality, a certain thing, and then you have the result. Then you get the result, but you attracted all that information because you saw yourself with the result already. Not you got the information, and then you got the result. You need to have direction. You need to have a goal. So be goal driven, or how now I like to say it is desire driven. I love my desires. I just gotta assume that I have them and then I'll get them. Because they're meant for you. They're meant for you in this lifetime, not in a different lifetime, not later. Now. Okay. And then then I want to share a way that I manifest. I'm looking at how fast I manifest. I manifest like 10 days on average. 10 days, certain things. I've been manifesting a lot of things. Because you can manifest anything. Everything. It's not, whether big or small, it doesn't matter. That doesn't even matter. And remember, in spirit, everything is ideal, everything's now. The only way something comes big or small, hard, is through the physical world. Just go back to imagination, where everything is possible now, and you have everything now. All right. Whenever these types of like doubts come in, but so you have everything now. Just want to make that clear. And what I like to do is have an Excel sheet. Then I put a few quotes on top of the Excel sheet about manifesting. Imagination creates reality. Imagination doesn't operate itself. Be conscious of being that way you want to appear. That which you want to appear. Those are some of my favorite quotes, but I have more. And there's one from Michael Jordan, one quote that I like too. It's have a positive attitude and put in the work, and it's bestowed upon you. If you have a positive attitude and put in the work, it's bestowed upon you. When it comes to manifesting, that's focusing on the process, the manifestation process. Focus on the manifestation process, and then it comes to you. And so I do that, the first part. And then the second part are my affirmations. And the third part are, I do an affirmation. And then I have in parentheses, you could do it whichever way you want. The next thing is an act, an imaginal act. And recently I manifested a specific person. Okay, so I did both affirmation and the specific person, because in the imaginal act, the affirmation and the imaginal act, I was seeing myself have sex in these certain positions, and I ended up having them with a specific person. And so it manifested. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool, cool. So I did both. Remember, these are all tools to help you feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And I have both of them because they work for me. Affirmation and the imaginal act. Alone, the affirmation, I'm not saying it doesn't work, because I use all of these. My coach Bob Proctor told me about like affirmations using audios, recording. I do these too throughout the day when I have time. If I'm on lunch and I eat my lunch pretty quickly, I'm like, I have 30 minutes left. Okay, let me put on my affirmations, or let me close my eyes and imagine. Okay, if I'm not working in flow doing something, then I'm affirming. And that's how I manifest. Right now, that's my primary go-to manifesting, for manifesting, because it's joyful. The process is joyful. It's so easy to manifest because it's what you truly desire. When you are hungry, you desire food. When you're thirsty, you desire water. So when you're thinking about your desire, you are in the desert. You're in the desert and you want the wish fulfilled, which is the water. Just feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And if these help you, these certain tools help you, whichever one you feel joyful doing. It could be the audio, it could be the affirmation, it could be the automatic affirmation, right? Just verbally saying it. It could be the affirmation, it could be it would be nice, or isn't it wonderful? How would it feel? Imaginal act, maybe acting it out as well. Close your eyes and act it out. That manifests too. Neville Goddard students have talked about that. I've done that. Because I could be standing here, closing my eyes and pretend I'm at the beach. Then I might end up heading to the beach. Or I can imagine I'm dancing with a girl, and then a girl will end up calling me or something, and I'll end up dancing. It's happened to me a lot of times with the dancing part. So yeah, create an Excel sheet, split into 3 parts, quotes to help you remember, and kind of get you in that understanding of manifesting. Affirmations, whatever, or you can say, hey, time to visualize. Imagine. I don't like the word visualize. Imagine. Because you could be blind and still manifest. Okay. Or you could be deaf and manifest. You could be reading this and not hear this. You could be reading the captions and manifest. And then lastly, the third part for me was another way of manifesting, which was my affirmation plus an act. You know, so I'm doing the theme of the producer, and then I'm doing the script writing. Cause I have a little scene. You know, I'm in my apartment doing this and that, or I'm at the gym doing this and that. Actually, I'm gonna make it more descriptive now. Now that I'm sharing this, see, helping you helps me too. That's always the case. Helping others is helping you. And then I have like the words that I'm saying if it's a interaction. Sometimes it's a physical thing, so there's not really like words, but I could. Somebody could maybe congratulate me. So the little short script, and yeah, and then I just run it over and over again as the director. Okay. So, producer, which is the affirmation, the script, which is the imaginal scene, and the words. Director, me telling myself to repeat it over and over again as the actor until it feels natural. Okay. Yeah, that's how I do it, and that's the primary way, because there's other ways too that I do it too. Like I mentioned, when I have free time. I hope you like this one. I love you so much. I want you to reach your dreams, because that's what I have done over and over and over again. And it's made my life better. I love my life. I live a fulfilled life because I do these videos, because I am self-validated through my workout, through my gratitude, through my imaginal acts. And yeah, so I wish you the best. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, so the algorithm gives you more of my videos, or videos that are just like this, that help you live an amazing life. And if you want more, like the book Goal Driven that I shared about, click the description below. There's an author's link there. You can check out my other books. I have books on manifesting, sales, fitness, self-love, so much. And yeah, and also have a coaching program. You want to get in the coaching program, let me know. We'll get that rolling, okay? Just click the Calendly link there. All right. I love you. Peace.